6:34. Call the meeting to order at 6:34. And I was trying to share the screen. Did I unshare that, or let's see if I can share it.
I pulled it down. You can put it
Okay.
back up again.
All right. I'm trying to remember. I think that's it right there. And just quickly, the agenda. Call to order. Roll call is Chris Shipper, John Fusick, Susan Schweitzer. On the call, Pam Flynn, Tiger Mann. Sorry, I've got to scroll down to see more names. Kate Owsley, Robin Bates Mason, Newell Cotton. Thank you all for attending. First order of business is to approve the minutes of September 9th and October 14th. Do I have a motion, John, to approve?
Yes, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'm going to abstain from September 9th because I was not there.
Okay, and then I will second the approval of both meeting minutes, and again compliment our Secretary Susan Schweitzer for a tremendous job in writing up and documenting our meeting. It does seem like we duplicate efforts if we both record the Zoom and then put the minutes out, but I think we're in a hybrid. We're still in a hybrid environment. Okay. With that done, let's move on to the agenda. We'll start with Conservation Commission mission around sustainable New Canaan. And I am going to put in front of the commissioners a motion to approve, and I think I have this right, the Pollinator Pathway Resolution, which is attached to this document, and I'll scroll to it. And let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Robin, I would ask that if you want to either walk through it in its whereases or whether you require us to walk through it. And in particular, any points with points 1 to 4 that you'd like to emphasize. And
so the only thing is we received an email, I didn't see it till later, from Department of Public Works that they wanted to make some additions to it, and I think it needs to go back then probably to the pollinator pathway to discuss. I don't know, Tiger, are those required, those changes?
They're not required. While we in item number 2, it says avoiding application of synthetic fertilizer. You could read an integrated pest management program that as well, right? You try other things first before you get to that level, and then you use the least before you get to the most, right? The least toxic before you get the most toxic. I'm not overly concerned with the fact that it says avoiding, because we try to avoid the application, right? I mean, that's a given.
Mhm.
It's just a question of that we might have to, right? Or that we do, if you follow me, right? So I sent the comments out because we wanted them to be everybody aware of it, but I don't think it needs to go back for everybody. How about that?
The one comment with the lawn, with the turf grass though, that
one was interesting because it was, again, the turf grass is a good filter, and given
sorry, Tiger, I can't hear you. And then
you gotta speak.
hear me?
Speak up.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Turf grasses are a good filter. And then they also are a good way to soak up moisture or rain, a detention system versus bare soil or even a pollinator garden, so to speak, right?
So
Go ahead.
but that's my question about that. Where does that come from? I reached out to Doug Tallamy today at University of
Yep.
Delaware, and he wanted to know where that source came from, because
that's coming from my park superintendent and from the the research and studies that he's been aware of.
okay,
It's more from a turf grass management point of view versus elsewhere.
Yeah, so that's,
and we know that I mean, turf grass is for us, like when we're calculating You know, how much, when we get to a 0% runoff on a parcel, when they want to develop it, grass is way better than, you know, certain other areas, and better, certainly better than impervious areas, but they have different factors associated with them.
Right, I think it said it was better though than having pollinator plants, and that's where, when I reached out to Ptolemy, he took issue. So he wanted to know, he was wondering if it came from a turf, where the research came from. So my only issue would be adding that, because it seems to go against everything of the pollinator pathway resolution.
It's fine. Like I said, you could keep it in, you know, it's not gonna, you know, you know, we have grasses that we're not gonna be able to get rid of, right? We have playing fields that will always be playing fields, right? So that's where we're at, you know.
Oh, but the
So I'm fine with it.
resolution isn't for the town, it's for the, I mean, it's.
I understand, but we are asking us to sign off on it. So, you know, I don't want to be in a situation where it puts me at odds. That's all.
Right. So that's why I'm wondering if you want to wait and go back on this, or go ahead.
I think we're far enough along where we're fine.
Okay.
Great.
I have no problem with the integrated pest management. I don't know, Chris, if the Conservation Commission.
I would say this, and again, I'll ask the commissioners to weigh in, but, integrated pest management is a very good term for, large land care organizations and town park organizations. I think this message is, and I had this brief discussion with Tiger, which says, we understand playing fields. There's no alternative to that, and they need to be maintained, and so we're not arguing against that, but we are trying to encourage residents in the other 22 square miles of New Canaan to think more of pollinator plantings and less of lawn. So I would say this is a pretty solid resolution. We would have to obviously say native plants and all wildlife in the town of New Canaan and beyond, kind of statements, make that one correction. But I'm in favor of this statement as a resolution that we would then put forward to the town council.
Does it go to town council or board of selectmen?
I'm going to let you be the judge of that. Most of the resolutions have to be read by town council, I believe.
I know we did the resolution for Sustainable Connecticut, it was board of selectmen.
Yeah, when I do certain things like Public Works Week, it's through the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, then let me ask my two commissioners if there are any comments or concerns regarding this resolution.
No specific comments from me, but Robin, where did the base document for this come from?
Did come from the template came from the pollinator-pathway.org. They have the template for it, and the local towns, Norwalk, I think, did the resolution, and you can go on pollinator-pathway.org and look up, I think it's under resources at the top, look down the towns who've done it. Norwalk's done it, Weston has done it, Fairfield's done it, I believe Newtown has either done it or they're working on it. And then some other towns further afield.
Gotcha. And is it associated with an educational institution, a college, or is it just kind of independent?
The pollinator pathway, I believe it was started, Luis Washer, who's with the Norwalk water, I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Norwalk Watershed River Association. I think I messed it up. And I believe someone who's with the Garden Club of Wilton. They started it, and they've just been growing it, and it's now, various towns have now become part of it in various different formats. New Canaan is part of it, where 10 organizations, including Department of Public Works, Conservation Commission, and nonprofits have come together to be part of it. In some other towns, it's just the organization in the town. It's just some people that became the pollinator pathway.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'd be in support of the resolution.
Susan, any comments?
Only that if you're making changes to this resolution or amendments, I heard none of them verbally, so I would have to go back and read. So I would just like to know, are you amending this resolution?
I think it to be amended, sorry, let me look it up, to include the integrated pest management, which we do get points from Sustainable Connecticut for New Canaan implementing that. And I think it's more realistic probably for most people. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it.
Susan, are you requesting that we read this?
Excuse me? No, what I'm requesting is if you have an amendment to this resolution, it'd be really nice if you would just forward that to me, because your conversations were not verbally clear. So I want to know if you're amending this resolution. I will not have that in the minutes.
I would say at this point, there would be only two amendments to the resolution. One would be to convert the statement town name to Town of New Canaan.
Got
And
it?
the second would be to introduce protect and enrich soil. And then I think we would add a comment as well as integrated pest management.
Yeah,
in
what I
that.
have here is a well-managed integrated pest management IPM plan should be considered as well, and not an overall avoidance of pesticides. The judicious use of pesticides by professionals trained in their use should be considered.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, judicious.
Right.
So,
so I think what'll happen is then on that resolution with those two changes, I would make a motion to approve this resolution. And I'd like to know if I have a second.
Yeah, I second.
Okay. All in favor?
I,
I'm in favor.
Yes.
Okay, all three commissioners approve the resolution with those two changes requested. Robin, then for our purposes, if you just make those two small amendments and forward it back to us, we will have it on the record.
right.
Okay. Thank you very much for the work on that, and I'm excited to get this on, as well as the sustainable CT points. So that's great news. Let me just make one more. Let me put up my agenda for us now, and we will continue. Okay. That's done. I'll move forward. Point B, we're going to hold in December, there will be a Zoom review of the river and pond testing that was done at Mead Park, in Bristow Park, and then down the tributary down on Weed Street. Next topic is native tree canopy planting program. We had discussed a potential tree survey that could be distributed by conservation organizations. I'm wondering, and I had two people come up to me saying what a great idea the tree planting program was, and we're excited about the message in the New Canaanite. And I wonder whether, and Tiger, you can advise us on this, whether it would be beneficial to do a survey, a tree survey among our citizens or through our conservation organizations. And there I'm thinking Beautification League, Garden Club, Nature Center, Land Trust, kind of like an outbound mailer, and say, let's collect some responses on people's perspectives. It probably can't hurt. And I don't think it would take a lot to put together the Survey Monkey effort. It's just a question of adjusting it from, I think we bootlegged a copy from Weston, Massachusetts, and then putting it through for New Canaan, and with a few small adjustments. And we might be able to get either Aaron Lefland or Michael Carusi to set that up for us. But let me hear the commissioner's thoughts and then public thoughts on that idea. That would be either John or Susan. On a tree survey.
Yeah, I guess my perspective would be that it makes a ton of sense to try and do this and, you know, gather people's opinions. I mean, if we're solely targeted at conservation type organizations, I'm not sure, you know, what that tells us in terms of the broad population of New Canaan, right? It sounds a little self-serving, to be honest, if we're simply targeted at those. So I'd love to get a real town-wide, you know, kind of opportunity to respond anyway.
Okay, let me try to address that point, which is, and I'm not aware yet of a town-wide survey form other than perhaps through healthcare. But I'm not aware of, because this is strictly an online email program, not a direct mailer. I don't know how we would organize that. And if we did, I would suspect it would take it'd take a couple months to get through the process of, do we actually have the right to email our town through this system, as opposed to what I was suggesting was a ready channel of contacting through newsletters and what have you.
Right. No,
I-
Chris, don't get me wrong. I wasn't suggesting that we do a mailer or you know, anything that would directly touch everyone, as much as just be very broad in terms of trying to grab everybody
Right.
to respond, to get as many points of view as possible.
Yep. I guess the way I look at it is, if we were doing a survey about school buildings, we would, you know, survey the school population, families. If we're doing a survey about, you know, swimming facilities, we'd survey, you know, the specific focus. But I take your point. I do feel it would be a little self-serving, but then again, you know, the various conservation organizations don't often speak with a unified voice, and this is one way to get that voice out there and to hear opinion. And you know, I do believe that you know, some organization of perspectives regarding conservation and tree coverage and what have you is a good idea, and in fact may also be a good pre-marketing idea for, you know, a tree planting program.
Yeah. Well, I'm all in favor of, you know, trying to move forward with some type of survey.
All right, Susan, any comments there?
I think this is a terrible time of year to try and do something like that.
I get that.
I think
point.
people are very distracted. They're not going to be thinking about this. The
Mhm.
leaves are coming down. They're saying, what's wrong with the trees? I think it would be way better to focus on something like this in the spring.
All right, I will take that on board. And that sounds right. I mean, I have to say, I did walk in the woods today. It is beautiful right now. But I will take your point about, with everything else going on, that this might be something that we tee up in the spring.
I think you get such a low response rate that
Okay,
it wouldn't really matter. And I think that, and I would focus on as we had talked about before, the public ways, the tree plantings, the inventory of trees that affect the public, but I wouldn't do it now.
okay. I'll take both those points on board and get back to you with regards to that. And at the same time, I'll take a look into who might be able to help us with a Survey Monkey, and then also try to speak to a few of the heads of the various organizations as to whether they might not consider putting this into their, let's just say, March or April newsletters as they reach out to their constituents. Any other comments from members on the meeting?
This is a long shot, but this could possibly be an equity action through Sustainable Connecticut. I've just been going to the equity coach there to try to get some ideas, and I have had some denied, but if it is, we could go through that route and use it for one of our equity actions.
That sounds very good.
I
Just
have-
from the,
I
That-
have to check though with them.
okay, well, let's add that in. So if we're thinking about doing this in 2022, that's a great idea. I'd like to note for the record that Marty McLaughlin is now in the meeting. I didn't quite check what time you got in, but welcome, Marty.
Okay, I'm here.
Good, thank you. Just a quick one on trees and is a note that the spotted lanternfly talk will be on November 15th. The Conservation Commission is co-hosting that with Planet New Canaan and the Land Trust.
Not Planet New Canaan.
Oh,
It's with New Canaan Beautification League, Land Trust, and Conservation Commission.
perfect, perfect. That's great. Is there anything else we need to do, or is there any way we could send something to Michael Dinan on the morning of the 15th to get the news
I
out
can-
about it?
So what I can do is I can send the flyer to his calendar.
Okay,
Otherwise, I've just been posting online to social media to various groups.
Right.
On Moms Today. People know it'll be recorded. Just so going that route. But yeah, I can send something to Mike for his calendar, and then it should hopefully go in the what's it called on Friday mornings, the what's happening in town.
sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you so much for organizing that, Robin. Okay, I'm going to continue on to point D, food scraps recycling program update. Katie, is there any updates for the Conservation Commission?
I think Tiger would probably have a better sense of the tonnage that's being collected, the pounds that are being collected on a weekly basis. We are continuing to have issues, I think, with plastic in the bins. So we need to continue educating people about that for sure. Tiger, do you know what the weights are? I haven't seen them from Don recently.
I don't have
Oh,
them in
the
front of me. I don't have them in front of me, but I'll send around the updated graph for everyone. Once I get them from Don and from Nick. I know we're taking pumpkins now, cut up pumpkins. We have 2 toters set aside for pumpkins themselves, and I'm gonna try to post out to people that will take them for a while, so that they know that they can bring them in. I know the Nature Center is probably gonna take some as well, but we'll take them at the transfer station also. So that's a good thing. But I'll get you an updated list.
Good. Just one comment. I was there the other day and ran into Skip and Margot Sisson. And Skip came to me, he goes, I can't even put in coffee grinds. All the bins are so full. And there were only 6 of them out, but I think they were doing construction work or repair work. And that might have been why there were fewer bins. But I'm wondering whether we're increasing capacity for people, because it's pretty tough to, because Skip goes, Margot yelled at me for 3 days to get this thing into the recycling, and now we can't put it in. So,
Well, yeah, we have additional bins sitting to the side, and when they get full, we bring them forward. But you are right. We had an accident at the transfer station a couple of months ago when we actually had to have a whole portion of the sidewalk replaced.
right,
So it got, so it probably was a perfect storm at that point in time.
right. I figured as much. I told them as much. So, okay. Well, I'm proud of that program, and it's going to be great. I think, are we at the 6-month mark, or are we even longer now?
Or longer.
We're longer. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
And sorry to add, Planet New Canaan, we're gonna be taking more pumpkins. So we're gonna set that up at the Nature Center, but so Tiger, we'll do some publicity, but we'll take more of the whole uncarved, unpainted pumpkins.
great.
Right.
Okay. Any other points on food scraps? Okay, I'll move forward then on to transfer station, thinking about the master plan, potential ARPA funding of a swap shop versus vending machine bank and what have you. Tiger, where are we in the scheme of things? I've noticed that the new transfer station facility is up, almost up. And that's creating some opportunities. What are the next steps in your mind at the transfer station?
So, yeah, so we're into the facility. We have to finish the landscaping around and some of the grading around the facility itself. And then we had a meeting 2 days ago with an engineering firm to help us try to locate a new salt shed. And we have a different firm looking at a structural analysis of the existing incinerator building, the newer of the two, where our salt is now. So we're looking at that entire area with the thought that could we co-locate a salt shed, the animal control building that we have, a swap shop, and possibly some additional amenities for the station itself. So that was our initial discussion with that design firm. They'll come down, take a look, start doing their due diligence, give us a little bit of a proposal as to how to go forward, and it's be a two-step process, meaning they'll come in and give us a broad overview and maybe 3 options as to what they see as the art of the possible. Then we can vet those, choose, and then go forward from there. So we're looking at, I'd like to see the 2 buildings come down. The only problem is that they're, they were incinerators, and it'll have a hefty price tag associated with it. But they're old, and they're just getting older. So, and that might be the only area where we could actually develop, given the fact that the rest of the landfill is capped, and that we run into some additional problems with our permitting with the DEP to have do work on the capped portion.
Got it. But I know it's a bad pun, but it sounds to me like trying to get rid of those incinerators always gets put on the back burner. And
Yes, but yeah, I did make the comment that this is the first selectman that's actually been listening.
Mhm.
So that's a good step forward. Let's put
Right.
it that way.
Okay. So, the question comes up into if there's a sequence of events before a swap shop can be established, or is there a possibility of at least beginning with a swap shop, even though we don't have all the final master plan items in place? What's your thought there?
No, our goal is actually to have one sooner rather than later. So we vacated the area, excuse me, where the men were staying with with their bathroom and a break room. That's all now into the new facility. So that opens up that area. I've told our building superintendent to clean all that out, and I'd like to clean out the area in front of it, which is currently our electronics recycling, move a
Right.
couple of bins around, and that would be the area for the swap shop. And I'll find a different location for the electronics. And then we can at least use that area for the swap shop as we then look to expand or move the facility.
Well, then that sounds like, Robin, you may be capable of starting down the runway on the swap shop funding.
Yeah, so if we have a time frame, we can, unfortunately, Abe at Sustainable Connecticut's gone, so I need to go to the new person, because we did have verbal approval, but for a fundraising match. So if there's kind of a time frame, we can start on that, as well as Recycle CT just gave, I'm forgetting the name of the town, a grant for a swap shop or take it or leave it as well. So we can pursue that route as well.
Oh,
I'm of the opinion that we could start now. I can get that area cleaned out, over the winter, so to speak, and get ourselves set up. I don't know if you wanted to start in the winter or you wanted to start fresh in the spring. You have to kind of give me your time frame as well of what you think what's possible.
Let me reach out to the volunteers that have signed up and
Okay.
get from them. And obviously, I guess COVID's not that big of a deal right now. At least it doesn't seem to be. So we'll go from there. But if you want us to raise funds for it, let me know, because we can start on that now.
Additional funds would be helpful. you know?
We just would
Um,
need specifics on what the funds would be for, I think, Robin, too, right? We have to submit to them a specific budget. So if it's for a structure or a semi-permanent structure, we just need the specifics.
Okay, let me sit with Maria, because we had a sketch of the area. I wouldn't be looking at it for any funds to try to clean up the existing structure itself, but to build the structure on the outside. Let me find out exactly what that costs were to purchase the materials that we would need. She has a pretty good sketch of the area. And then I can tell you exactly how much that would be, and then we can go forward from there.
Great.
Okay. I'm going to hold unless anybody else has a point on the reverse vending machine bank as another possibility. And move forward to Tiger, you sent out this pamphlet, recycling what's in, what's out. And I'm wondering whether we couldn't organize maybe the slobs or somebody to do a one-day flyer handout to people, or 2 weekend days handouts to people on what's recyclable and what isn't, just to continue that education.
Are you talking a delivery to homes?
No, I meant at the station itself. I mean, it's
Oh,
really
okay.
a user's opportunity, because I don't know how I actually don't even have a number in mind. And maybe you could remind me of this. How many homes are signed up for the transfer station versus have services that pick up their trash and recycling? Is there a rough number on that? Is it 1/3 pickup and 2/3 transfer, or 1/3 transfer? Any ideas?
It's more of a 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 that have a pickup, 1/3 that don't. But I can
Wow.
get you the entire breakdown. Bob Mantilli's been doing a nice job of all of our permits.
Got it.
I can get you the entire breakdown of where it stands and where we are at present.
Got it. And if I understand that, the 2/3 that have pickup, those pickup organizations then bring the garbage to the transfer station.
Yes, most of them do.
Okay.
Not everyone. Some bring it to a different municipality or
Got
a
it.
different location.
Right. They mix it in with various other, pickups. And do they also then have a drop for their recycling as well? Or is that, because that seems a little harder to dump? How does that get handled?
Usually it's either a two a day, 2 days a week pickup, meaning they'll pick up one recycling and one garbage, or they've got a specific bin for the recycling set aside from the garbage. So to give you an idea, I just pulled up the numbers. So we sold, as of August 31st, 2,810 permits. 60.5% were haulers, 39.5% were not. So with or without.
No, wait, that doesn't sound right. I mean,
60.5% had a hauler, 39.5% did not. They
Oh,
did
wow.
not have a hauler.
got it. And does that imply if there are 7,000 residents in town or 7,000 households, that the other 3,000 households do not use the transfer station at all? Or
Correct.
don't sign up for it? They just,
Correct.
whatever garbage they have goes out, whatever way they get.
Correct.
Well, I mean, my household has both, right? We have a permit and we have a hauler, so.
Right.
Right. But I mean, you're an example of a joint, so you would be in the 28,000 or 2,800 count.
Right.
As having a permit, but the majority of our waste goes to the hauler,
Right.
the vast majority. So you'd have to survey people whether they have both or not to really get accurate numbers.
Right, but the implication is that, a hauler will cover 100 or 200 households or 300 households.
Yeah.
Whereas a transfer station user is either using it in part or whole. But the fact that there are only 3,000 out of 7,000 suggests that there's a lot of untouched, I guess. I don't even know how to describe that group, but it's sort of fascinating because everyone's producing rubbish. So
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Tiger, When those trucks come in, is that a single stream that they bring in, and then how does that get dealt with?
We are,
Can't hear you, Tiger.
sorry, we are a single stream facility. So everything that comes in is single stream.
Got it.
Can't hear anything.
Nope, sorry, Tiger just said it's a single stream facility for recycling. That'll have to change again at some point because the glass is polluting almost all the recycling material, so. All right. Any other questions regarding transfer station and recycling? Okay, I will move. Sorry,
Chris, I just, Plant New Canaan, sorry to say this, we used to be at the transfer station before the pandemic and hand out the what's in, what's out guide, so we would definitely help.
oh, thank you. Okay, well, let's just touch base on that. I mean, Tiger, you don't mind if people come there and hand out those flyers, right?
Oh, not at all.
Okay. All right, thank you. Excuse me. Just confirming the Conservation Commission budget is set at 24,000. We do have funds in that to support the swap shop and other sustainable Connecticut initiatives, Robin. So please keep in mind that as a funding source. The December tax mailer insert is completed. Thank you so much, Robin, for doing that. We just, I just love using that as an opportunity to message out about conservation and what the town is doing in general. So it's positive. And Tiger, thank you for your organization. I think it should be, that's the guide to recycling. Oh, Pam, oh, there it is. A message from Chairman Chris Shipper. It sounds a little Chinese. Sounds a little.
Sure, sure.
Sorry about that. Now that I look at it in the big letters like that, but it's the message is out. We do have the tree recycling program in. Are you all set for that, Robin?
Yeah, Katie is probably better to, we're all set.
Got it. And then we do go on solar, and thank you, Tiger, for putting Mark onto that and getting that written, and then a quick message about Land Trust Preserve. So all good. I'll quickly get out of that and back to the agenda.
Is that, Tiger, is it been printed? Do you need the PDF of that? Or are you all set?
All set. I gave it to Roseanne and she gave it to QDS. They were having to reformat it a little bit to try to get it onto the same cardstock they had.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you needed a different format. Okay.
No, they're working with what we have, and we should be all set.
All right. Let's let that, thank you all for all the work on that. And I think it's just one good way to pulse out there our messages.
I would just like to just point out one thing on the tax mailer. There are a lot of people who don't get that mailer because they do not pay their taxes.
Right.
Their mortgage people pay the taxes. I for one have never received anything because my mortgage company gets the tax mailers. I've never seen one.
Huh. Got it. And here I am thinking I'm bootlegging, very cheaply onto a town-wide mailer. And
I
now
know, I understand that, but you have to remember, I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one.
Nope.
I have never seen a tax bill from the town of New Canaan because my tax bill goes to my mortgage.
This mailer is for motor vehicles. The July mailer is for real estate.
I do get the motor vehicle one, but I never get the inserts on the real estate taxes.
That's thank you for bringing that up. I hadn't thought of that, and that makes sense. So, at some point, a mechanism for sending out messages is going to have to be devised. And again, I mean, this John alluded to that earlier on. How do you reach out to the town, on a survey? Well, there isn't really to my knowledge, an organized format to do so.
I don't think so.
So But you bring up a good point, but in fact, then therefore, it is good that we're tying into the car mailer, the car tax mailer as well
Right.
as townwide mailer. So we're pulsing it.
But
Thanks.
I
Good.
just, I just think it's important to know that it's
Yep.
not a universally
Nope,
comprehensive thing.
nope, I agree. I agree.
I have a suggestion.
Sure,
Uh,
Marty.
Yeah, would the town advertise it as a service to the town, perhaps print some of this information for us gratis?
We could,
Public service, it's a newspaper, public service,
mhm.
and a message like that could go out, and a lot of people would get it.
I would think that if we could reach out to both, reaching out to the advertiser, to the New Canaanite, and to Patch,
Yeah.
we might be able to get that shown out a little bit too. Maybe just even if they just put a link into it or published it. So thank you, Marty. Good thinking. Okay, let me move forward to the Green Link runners event. I don't know whether it's premature yet, but Tiger, in your knowledge, has there ever been something like a biking event, running event in New Canaan organized? I mean,
Yes,
yes,
we used, we used to have a walkathon put on by the Exchange Club. And we did that for a number of years. I don't know why we discontinued it, but it was successful.
well, and so in that walkathon, Marty, was there a designated path that everybody traveled on?
Yes, we started it at the school, at the high school. And it
Right.
went up South Avenue and around and came back down. I can't remember exactly, but it was on South Avenue for sure.
Okay. So, okay, so that's one observation. I'm not aware of a biking tour or a running event in New Canaan.
There are running events in New Canaan. That some are for charity, and multiple melanoma research does one, and then there are just some that are sponsored.
Well,
And I
there's
don't know.
one coming up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then there
Out of
there's
Waveney.
clubs, there are runner clubs that kind of put on
Yeah.
events below the radar, I think, as well.
We also used to have 4 on the 4th. It was a running race we had up by the up by the town, I'm sorry, the Historical Society. It was up
Oh,
at-
St. Mark's Church, because
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
they were right by my house.
Yeah.
It went right up O&O, came back to Turtleback, and then came back west. 4 on the 4th.
That's right, yeah.
Was that 4K on the 4th or something like that?
Yeah,
Yes,
Well, I
and
think,
and the turkey trot is the same. But it's now out of Waveney.
got it. So it's not quite, it's not quite Greenlink focused, but it is an event. So
Yes.
the question we had is, one is, the Greenlink isn't
you're
really,
broken up, can't hear you.
sorry, can you hear me now? So I guess my point is that the Greenlink isn't really complete yet, except in the upper quadrant. But it doesn't have the sidewalk down down Old Stamford Road, which would get us all the way to Waveney. So we don't really have a full parks Greenlink set up. But I do like the idea of bringing people in and walking or running, and doing a loop. So, Marty, would the Exchange Club think about doing something again like that?
Yeah, they would be open to that.
Okay. Do we have any other organizations that we might approach to co-sponsor something like that?
So, Kristen Cottrell from Land Trust and I do the walk of Irwin through the Green Link through town and back, and it's a little over 3K if you do the full loop at Irwin. The pollinator pathway groups are going to have on that Saturday after Earth Day a program there. We checked on it to see if we could do a run. We can't do the run because the green link there is too small. But we were gonna meet with Laura Budd of Chamber about, since it would go through town, if you wanted to do that sort of route, about looping them in, but we would need to meet after that with the special events committee. And then
Got it.
obviously probably the police. But if that's the route, I just think it needs to be a circuit, you know, a circle, if it's gonna be people parking somewhere rather than going from Irwin to Waveney, then you have you know, where do you pick up and drop off?
Right. I think that tying into Waveney is something of a challenge, but you know, it's possible. The other alternative is to make Mead Park, the Mead and Irwin, the two parking areas, and then just create a loop that, you know, with a little bit of work, you can get down Park, because that's sidewalk, and then a little bit into Bristow, and then back out up through Mead, up to Irwin, and then the Green Link, and then back down. So that, you know, the idea is to try to link as many of the parks as possible. But let me say this, then, again, with our limited budget, that we would be willing to do some work or do some funding towards and again, we're on the Green Link side of things here, that would link these parks together. And if that's something that we could get organized, it would be great.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
then you
the timing be sometime next year?
Yeah,
at the last meeting,
Now is
Earth
that
Day,
the-
right? The goal, Saturday after Earth Day.
it'd be wonderful. That's, is that May or is that March?
April 22nd's Earth Day. It's a Friday, so it'd be the Saturday.
April 23rd. Okay, so we kind of have a date.
The problem that you'll run into is that the police department has made a policy that there are no running events allowed on town roads anymore. You want everything to be sequestered at Waveney.
Ah, okay.
So while you used to have the multiple myeloma that came through, we had the race for autism. We had a triathlon that came through. We had a bike race that came through. They've now tried to sequester everything, safety reasons, into Waveney alone. You'd have to break through that barrier now. I think it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. But you'd have to break through that barrier.
And Tiger, I think the point of that is that, you know, it takes a lot of police work to keep roads open for
Yes,
runners.
and it became difficult for traffic and things like that. Multiple myeloma was exceptional, as exceptionally well run, but it didn't matter.
Interesting. Well, which is an argument to why the Green Link, with its sidewalks and parks, and which is largely a park and sidewalk event, would be a great step forward for us. So, okay, well, just on that front, is there any timing yet on the sidewalk from Park down to Bristow? Did I
Right
catch it?
now, right now, the surveyors were out there doing the survey work. We had a long set of research to do, and COVID kind of put us behind. It's a lot of work for surveyors out there right now. So now they're back into the office and working on the design itself. I did speak to Maria today about possibly extending the survey down, but we're going to wait to see what the selectmen determine on Tuesday. On Tuesday, at present, they might be bringing forward some of their recommendations for ARPA funds, one of them being the extension of the Green Link from Bristow down to Gower. And if they do that, then we'll look to pursue expanding the survey to try to get ahead of that funding source.
That would be a big win, because then the only big traffic aspect of it would be crossing from Gower over. So, that's the holy grail, right? To make that connection, and then we can tie our parks together. So, all right, good conversation.
So I would suggest, on Tuesday to be available for the Board of Selectmen.
That's going to be a problem for me, given I'm out of the state. But I don't know, Robin or or at least I can send a note to the first selectman regarding
It's also,
this.
yeah, it's also a hybrid, it'll be a hybrid.
Yeah, that's just, I'm gonna be in the woods.
Oh, good, Chris.
Sorry. But let me send a note on that fact, but okay, I get your point there. And again, Robin, and Marty, if either of your organization are thinking about, the Conservation Commission could provide some financial support towards the organization of that event.
Yeah, well, we're open to that. And we also have enough help. We have about 160 guys now in the organization, and actually we're expanding, looking for more things to get involved in. So this would be could work in very well for us.
And Marty, I'd like you to be holding the flag and running at the front of the race, so that's good news. Okay.
I'm still moving.
We're going. All right. Let's shift into Robin, I want to make sure that any other points regarding sustainability. Okay, thank you. Just on Bristow, and we'll be quick through this. Capital plan spending is in place, and we received a note. If I can just share that right here on the program. Can you please tell me if you can see this note from the Department of Public Works?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just scroll up. Tiger, you want to make a quick summary of this for us? Or I can do it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it might be better for you because I think I'm gonna run out of service.
Got it. All right. Well, just so you know, DPW is helping this program towards the Centennial Master Plan. Phase 1 was done efficiently and under budget and ahead of schedule. Phase 2, which will include some, and that included additional fence repairs and the boardwalk work. So, and the fernery was just completed as well. So that these good programs are, putting us in good stead on this program. Phase 2 bids were in, and the prior bidder, the prior construction firm, Peter Lanny Inc., bid on it and was approved by the Board of Selectmen. And work is anticipated to start this fall. Obviously, soon is great. It's all timing related, but it includes site work, trail renovation, destination area paving, stone steps, boardwalk work, and watercourse work. It'd be very exciting to get that phase 2 in, and then we're into and then we'll be heading to phase 3, which is the other portion of the park. And then I'm very appreciative of anticipated improvements include parking pull-off on Old Stamford Road and a connection of the Green Link down Old Stamford Road. These are great items, and we'll be very supportive of getting budget numbers placed in next year's capital budget, and as well as arguing for ARPA funds to go in there. So I think the Conservation Commission wants to give the DPW a big round of applause, Tiger and Maria and the whole crew, for helping us get phase 1 and now phase 2 underway on budget, ahead of schedule. So thank you. I don't know if my commissioners have any comments in that regard, but
I had a comment from a woman in town who appreciated the fernery that was put in. She thought it was lovely.
Nice. Yeah, it was that came together very nicely, both with Peter Lanny, Marco from Peter Lanny laying in the pathways, and then Ty Tan as the designer, and then a great collection we had over 40 slobs in 4 shifts, do the site prep, install, and mulching. So, and we also now have a former land trust steward who is going in and watering to make sure that they take before the winter dormant season takes over. So I'm very excited by that project as well. So it's wonderful news there. That I think gets us forward. Marty, you had a question about the Center Crossing Pavilion. I understand that Keith Simpson Associates have contacted the pavilion provider and ordered it. So that's coming in, and then there'll be some work to put the pad down, or the stonework down, or the paving work down, and the footings for the pavilion. But it's my hope that will, once the footings and paving are in, that pavilion will be installed hopefully by the end of the first quarter next year. So,
Oh, yeah, that would be good. But, there's going to be some seating in there.
yeah, well, the 3 benches that have been provided by the Exchange Club that are currently near the fernery would then be moved over to that area.
All right, that's good, yeah.
Okay. Just quickly on point D, the Jim St. Clair Memorial Pin Oak is planted and the bench is coming, but there was an additional $3,000 gifted towards the Friends of Bristow and for the Conservation Commission to do conservation awards for New Canaan High School's juniors. I don't know if any of you had children in the school, but there's always a award ceremony at the end of the school year. And I thought we could use that $3,000 and, for 6 years, make $500 awards to New Canaan High School juniors who demonstrated an interest and an implementation of program in our parks and in our towns, whether it's Land Trust or Beautification League or Garden Club or Bristow or anywhere. I think that's going to be, that could be kind of fun to do, and just add a little more awareness in front of the parents and students of our high school. Don't know any comments from my commissioners or attendees.
This is a dedicated a gift that's been asked to be targeted at what you just described.
It is. They were meant to provide us with $4,500 for the tree and bench, and they supplied $7,500 and suggested that since Jim St. Clair was a big naturalist, and he actually initiated the first environmental science course at New Canaan High School, that this would be an appropriate way to recognize him, and it would be called the Jim St. Clair Conservation Commission Award.
Sounds wonderful to me. Sounds like a great idea.
Right? Okay.
I was also interested in whether or not we were going to be able to cut back the canopy of some of these trees so that we could put some plantings in, just like Golden Map, which I like, that needs sunlight, and there's not enough sunlight to do that kind of work.
Well, Marty, in that regard, I think that we could start with what we have, which is there is some sunlight on the upper trail where we could plant, and then there's also that little meadow area that has.
I was thinking about where the bridge is, where you close to where you're going to put the pavilion, in that area there, to make it an attractive place to sit.
Mhm.
So
Well,
that's my thought. And there's just too much canopy up there. Now that the leaves are gone, it'd be a perfect time to, when we get around to it, to cut back a little bit.
Well, we can take a look at that. I would say that between ash blight, beech tree leaf disease, and what have you, that we're probably going to see some canopy opening up there. But we have a mix of areas, some very heavy canopy and some where we've removed canopy. And so I'm happy to take a look at that idea, but I do think that at the upper path and also where the so-called meadow area is created would be 2 good areas to explore. And to be honest with you, we occasionally get requests from neighbors to take down some leaning trees and what have you. So as canopy comes down, we can look at obviously planting the understory. So thank you, Marty. I'm going to pause on the St. Francis statue or the Francis of Assisi statue, and as well as the future of Bristol Park, as well as open space. On the new business, we're going to have a follow-up on the leaf blower or quiet neighborhoods discussion, but I think I'm going to wait for Linda Andros to come in. I haven't seen anything newer about that other than it is a noisy time of year right now. I think we can all agree. I think let's get the pollinator pathway resolution in, and then in that process discuss this idea with some of the town officials as well. And then finally, on the ARPA program, the $6 million, we have, or I have on behalf of the commission, formally gone before the town council and other bodies to request that 1/3 of that 6 million be allocated to public space and sustainability. I'm sort of pleased to note that in the latest tally that was put together that I saw on November 4th in the Advertiser, that about 1.35 million of the 4.6 million so-called allocated or earmarked were for open space, for public space and sustainability. And that's almost 1/3. So the message is getting through about let's invest in our public space and our sustainability. And we need to keep that message, keep that message going. And I'm pleased, for instance, that Greenlink sidewalks are now something that are being potentially earmarked as important. And tree coverage was discussed. Cogeneration facilities are discussed. Waveney Park improvements are discussed. Public facilities in Waveney Park are discussed. So the argument is carrying. I don't know whether any of you had any other conversations with people in town about this, but we have to keep that messaging in place as a conservation commission to say, we represent this side of the street, and this is an opportunity to take those funds and do good for the total population. And I argue it's good for both health and for equity in our town.
Chris, once you might have noticed downtown that there's action in the library area.
Yes.
And once that facility is up, we're going to move all the books out of the old library and all of the equipment that we're going to keep into the new library. And then the old library will be raised, and that'll be replaced by an award-winning park. So something so beautiful downtown that we as a group should be aware of that, and when time comes to support and make note of it, because it's a major improvement.
Thanks for providing that viewpoint, Marty. And I take that point aboard about the potential for open space, and at the same time balanced against the other interests of historic preservation. I don't know whether I'd want to wave in there, but whichever way it goes, from a town perspective, we would share an interest in.
Yeah, there will be open space. So there will be enough to make a conversation about.
Okay. With that in mind, if there are any other points any of the members would like to raise, I'll take that. Otherwise, I'll call the meeting to a close.
Thank you.
John, Marty, Susan.
Yeah, nothing here.
Thank you. Newell, thank you for attending. Tiger, thank you so much for the timely update. Robin, thank you. Kate, thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, friends. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Hey, Newell. Marty.
Yeah.
Marty, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Great. I thought I saw you walking the other day, but it was,
I have a hip problem.
I was wondering,
I got yeah, arthritic hip and I'm on pain pills right now.
Uh-huh,
But I'm trying to work through it through therapy and we'll see what happens.
got it. It's not heavy duty pain pills. It's like
Yeah, I can't
naproxen?
lift. I can't lift. They tell me, warned me to not lift anything. So I do work out at the gym, but I don't lift at all.
Got it, got it, got it.
So I'll beat it. I'll beat it. I'll be okay.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks a
All right,
lot.
Marty, thank you for the Exchange Club's ideas there. That was very helpful.
Okay, buddy. Bye-bye now.
Take good care. I'm gonna
Bye.
end the meeting.